there are about 16 of you, so if about 8 want to sign up for mail and each lunch, it doesn't have to be exactly even, just as long as it's not very heavily weighted to one side or the other.
You like to give speeches, then maybe you're going to be the guy that sponsors the bill that we go over during our mock session. So that's one thing to consider this week, is think about ideas that you would like to see become laws in the state of Florida.
Really has an impact on this kid.
Yeah, and she's all in. She's not happy.
I know.
But you know, sometimes you pay.
Hey, Mr. Cartwright, I'd like to give a shout out to all my family out there that's watching this right now.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
What grade are you in? Eighth, man. And you?
I'm Joshua Johnson.
Joshua Johnson. And you're a senior in second? You're a sophomore? Okay. What do you like? You do music. Write music or play music? That's good. So y'all, let's get together and let's do a picture. I don't know what this is. Yeah, okay. You here, all y'all here. Come on. So we'll get the picture.
The officer can actually issue just a warning instead of having to put them into the civil citation system. It also makes it clear that they can use similar diversion programs. There are several counties that don't currently have civil citation systems in place. So this would allow those counties a little bit of extra leeway.
So, do you know where I was approached by the Sheriff's Association and prosecutors and all my other friends? Do you know, have they changed their opinion on the bill in regards to the amendment?
I do not know. There's a lot more leeway built into the amendment, so I would assume that they would be more comfortable with it, but I would definitely.
John, hey John.
Hi, I'm Wendy Edwards.
Wendy, nice to meet you. And where are you from?
Palm Beach County.
Palm Beach County, okay. Good for you. Nice to see you. In my life, and share those with you and talk a little bit quickly about the legislative process.
Kennedy Davis from here.
Okay.
Maria Henry Tallahassee. LaRonda Washington Quincy.
Okay.
Francesca Jenjo, Jensen Beach.
Okay.
Winnie Bed Edwards, Paul Giaston.
Emily Cato, Fort Myers, Florida.
That's close to my house.
Oh, yeah.
I was there earlier this
Nick
week.
Boyer
From Destin, Florida.
Jacob Hall from Navarre.
Navarre.
Okay.
Bart Fletcher from Quincy, sir.
Okay.
And Andrew Rice from Fort Lauderdale.
Great. Thank you.
Split down the middle.
Yes, sir.
Jenjo, I'm with Senator Richter.
Oh, good. Yes, good.
I'm LaRonda Washington. I'm from here. I'm with Senator Moffett.
Good. Nice to see you.
Maria Henry, Senator Galvano from Tallahassee.
Good. Yeah, good to see you. Hi.
Kennedy Davis, I'm with Senator Richter, and
Oh, okay. It's keeping you guys busy, I hope. All right.
Good. That's perfect. That's perfect.
Thank you. Here we go. Looking right here. On the count of two.
Well, good. Well, I'm glad y'all enjoyed it. Hopefully y'all got the opportunity and maybe this will inspire you to do this someday. We need some good leaders. We need some good leaders now, actually, so if y'all want to run now, we can. Carlicia's got a little something for you.
This is a gift from him to you guys here.
thank you.
Everyone grab one.
Somebody's come a long way.
Thank you. Now, Jeb Bush, when he was governor, used to collect these coins, and if you ever went into his office, he would have 300 or 400 of them that he's collected. And it's based on a military tradition of a coin, and I'm not advocating this because y'all are too young, but you always had to carry your coin, and if you were somewhere and somebody said, they challenged you, did you have your coin, you didn't have one, they had to take you out for dinner, buy you a drink, all that good stuff.
That actually goes into the stadium. And then these are our trucks. These white trucks here are all of our grip trucks. And the ramp there actually goes into that. The little piece that sticks out is a 3-story stage where the students sometimes put together sets and stuff like that. At FSU, you have to be accepted into FSU and then into the film program. But then your first year, as a freshman, you take your liberal studies class, and then when you turn into a sophomore, because you have to get all of your basic that the legislature requires, all those XY courses, all those fun things out of the way. Once you do that, then you start here. And we actually throw out the sophomore, junior, senior titles, and we call them first year filmmakers, which is their sophomore year, second year filmmakers, and third year filmmakers. So it's different, and then we schedule all of their courses for them. So their first year, these are all basic editing is great to do on a Mac.
Yeah, that's what we use when we're videos.
Then when you get into the really detailed stuff like visual special effects and like really finite stuff, then we move you over to Windows because you can do a lot more difficult stuff on Windows than you can on Mac in live production. But in here is our production pit, we call it, which is where all the animation students do all of their work. And they're assigned a workstation.
Go ahead. It's okay.
Hey, how's it going? This is where all of our animation students get their work done.
I'm currently working on setting up a model for test run for one of my friend's films. Because we are working on, VFX for our films that we finished shooting last semester. So he built this spaceship, and I'm currently putting on the UV markers to make sure it's perfectly ready and that all the textures on it will fit and not stretch out. I usually use Photoshop. For VFX we use Nuke, which is like the standard in the industry. Also use ZBrush for sculpting, but for this, I believe this was all done in Maya and will be textured in Maya also.
How many people actually apply? So it actually is more like 15 students that they accept because depending on what you want to do, animation or live production. So it gets really crazy. And that's what they're doing right now. The interviews are happening today. This weekend are all the graduate interviews. They're interviewing people for graduate. There's live production and screenwriting. So the screenwriters are here working this weekend and interviewing. But this is our brand new Foley room. So in animation, 80% of sound is captured offset. And then any ideas? So for animation, do you know if it's before or after? After? It's actually before. Because what they do, they animate it based on what they heard. Now live action, before or after? After. For live action, the opposite. So like they're filming, any ideas why? After for sound?
Like for like a pencil drop or something maybe, or
yeah, that could
typing or something.
Yep. Check it out.
I'm not going in to see.
Yeah. So you can really different sounds. Like if you're on a beach, or if you're in the camera,
You can add this at the end.
walking down in a graveyard. Like we just shot this class right now is really into like classic horror. It's so funny the amount that we've had, but one of the ones they did was just where they took like an old Frankenstein feel and they kind of combine it with a modern day Frankenstein kind of thing, and so like they had a lot of the like Frankenstein walking, you know, like through a graveyard or down a gravel driveway. You know, so. These are all important.
Say the same thing.
It's the story. So, and you can tell a story, like you just told me, that what you just told to me says that you know how to tell a story. Because you can tell it with lighting, you can tell it with background, you can tell it with music, and you can tell it with dialogue. It doesn't have to be written, you know. So it's all about all those pieces coming together to tell a story. So if you don't have a story, you really don't have a good film. And you don't have to remember the first films that started were actually silent. So you don't have to have, dialogue, was my point. That what you told me was that you were a good storyteller because you're putting all the elements in. That's what made me think of it. And one of the things for the application process that we look at in all of those things, so the resume, the journey, we actually have you write a screenplay, can she tells a story, and it tells a story. When you give me your resume, does it tell me a story of who you are? When you give me your journey statement, does it tell me why you want to go here? Is it telling me, do you have that built-in ability to communicate to me something that's going on in your life? And one of the things that they have to do is actually, like I said, submit a screenplay that we give you a prompt for. These are some of our editing rooms. We go from the 2 screens to 1 step larger, and here they'll have their class where they'll screen their film for their class, and they'll have the faculty in the back. And this is all to the sound in here. You'll notice it's a little deader than the other spaces, and it doesn't bounce around as much. So it gives them a first look at how their film sounds and what it looks like on a larger screen. And then they'll go over here and here. It's even quieter. Like, see how it kind of echoed in the hallway? It echoed a lot.
Yeah.
And over there was a little bit better. And here you can almost feel it, the deadness in the room. So they sit here with their big board, and our faculty will sit right next to them, and they'll go frame by frame, watching their film, listening for every little aspect. Where are the keys on the keyboard typing? Did I hear the clicking? Did I hear the gravel in the graveyard? Did I hear the actor clearly? Was the actor too loud? It sounds like he's standing right in front of me, when in the film he's like 2 miles away, so all of those kinds of things. Does it add to the story? Does it make it believable? Is it a believable story? Films, by the time they graduate, they do the first one, and then they do a documentary, and then they do a F3, and then a thesis. And their thesis would be what the F3 and their thesis really, by that point, would be something that we submit to film festivals all over the world to showcase what they've learned and what they've done. And for each thesis film, and for any film that goes to a festival, they have to create a poster for it. So when they graduate, we hang their posters for other theses and procedures. These are all the great pieces. They're for it. And then they actually have to take a class. You'll have to take a class on how to design this and how to market yourself. So we have a person on staff that just submits all of our student films to festivals. And so as part of the class, you have to learn, how to pick the right festival, what's going to increase your chances of winning, what genre, all of those things, how to write a synopsis for it, how to make it sound interesting without giving everything away. There's a real art to it, and production houses, spend a lot of time trying to figure out how to market their movies. So it's a big piece of it. This is a horror film. So these two, this is part of our 3-floor sound stages. Where the one person would direct, and everyone else in the class had to read and act, and they had to work with the faculty on directing, on camera angles, and learning how to give feedback and take feedback. Because part of it is learning every aspect of it. So you can't really give direction until you've experienced it. So they kind of cover a lot of bases in here, directing set design.
This is like missing scene.
The what?
Missing scene.
Well, missing scene would be like when you've gone back and you're picking up a shot, but I mean, I guess, you know, I don't know. I mean, we just call it.
Yeah, I don't know your
That's all right. We just set it up and we practice in here, but yeah, studios, television studios, and we'll have like a permanent kind of like Seinfeld, or trying to think like a Disney. I'm trying to think of a current set that would have like a room, but and it looks like it's complete daylight, just the way it diffuses the light. So you learn all the technical details of, you know, what kind of fabric do I need to use, what kind of lighting do I need to use, how do I make it look like daylight's coming in, how do I make it look like it's dark outside, or, you know, different. This is giving a depiction of an urban. Here. And then these racks come all the way down to the floor. They come within like 1.5 feet of the floor, so they can actually put the cameras on them if they need to, and lift, you know, and get like an elevator, like make it look like a community elevator. There's all kinds. They had a pirate ship or something. I think it was pirate. They had like a big boat in here a couple of months ago where they were doing a scene because they didn't have enough time. Our students they only get a certain amount of time to do their films, so they didn't have enough time to get to the coast and back. So they actually created an ocean scene in here with a boat, and it was pretty amazing to think that this actually was the Gulf of Mexico. There's no right angle on it, so you can get a fold, you can spread out with a cloth that can go down, so you can make a full green screen effect, where you can put any kind of, you know, scene there. We also have motion capture equipment, and they do that in this room as well. So they have all this stuff in here, like they pulled one of the couches out from the writer's room, and they've been working in here, but they'll pull everything out and they'll just set up like back here. Amazing.
Oh, so he was the one who came up with this movie?
Wes, he helped.
Because I heard it was a book, and then
it
became a
movie. It's actually a trilogy that was written, and so he has been rehired to direct the second one. It's coming out in August.
Yeah.
And then if that goes well, he'll direct the third one as well. So we're super excited about. So these are just some of our alumni work. Who our alumni was and what we did on film. This is just a small selection. We try to update them every so often. So
Good. All hungry and stuff for some reason. Space for you. Bye guys. Bye Andre. Bye. Bye. Pages in the camp, the chamber of messengers.
We message.
Yeah, we message.
We literally message.
No, we
so
seriously.
pages are 12 to 14, messengers are 15 to 18.
Yeah.
Pages work in the House chamber running errands, and the messengers run throughout the entire Capitol building.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Great. Well, I'm Susie Henderson, and I've been a docent here for over 20 years, but I still learn something new every day, and I hope that you will learn a lot. This is the People's House, and it's the house of Governor and Mrs. Scott, and they do live here. They're not here at this moment, but they do live here. And so we're really glad that you have come to see it. This is another part of Florida history. And this is the second mansion that's been here on this spot.
This is the art of Christopher Still, and he did those beautiful murals that are telling the story of Florida in the House chamber. How many of you worked in the House this week? Okay. Well, before you leave today, take a peek at them, all right? Because they're absolutely exquisite, as is this piece. But guess how many people come visit our state? Almost 100 million people. 97 million visitors have come to Florida this past year.
The original wood blocks, and it's made with tempera paint. And to print this, they used the original wood blocks from, I believe it's the 1740s. 85 paint colors, and then with tempera paint, and you know that'll run if you get moisture on it, so they seal it. But I think it looks very much like Florida. You'll see birds, flowers, butterflies, plants, many of the plants that you would see here in Florida. So I think it's most appropriate. So this room was built during the Bush administration, and many of the governors add something, make a contribution. And this room was added because Mrs. Bush was passionate about literacy. And so you see in here books about Florida by Florida authors, and many of them from the University Press of Florida, which is a terrific publisher of Florida history, Florida ballet. I know they've done a cookbook for the Columbia restaurants.
Where'd you learn how to play like that?
My mom made all of her kids take piano.
Oh, okay. Beautiful.
Thank you.
That was First Lady Mrs.
I'll give myself
Jen.
some ink.
Good job. Thank you. Good job. It doesn't look like it's in the right place. That should, no, that is, yes, yes. This is a little square area. The ceiling is high. Okay, when you're done, if you'll join me in the Florida room. This lady gets to go and choose paintings from the Rain Museum. And that's one of them. Isn't it lovely? It's lovely. I've been to Italy.
Go ahead.
I'll take a picture. It's 17.
Met with the governor. I got to meet Pam Bondi and take a personal picture with her and her dog, her St. Bernard. Interview veterans, Colonel Prendergast, I remember. What did you guys? What else? Say, what did you guys do?
I did many things this week. Many interesting and great things. We had a mock session.
Yeah, the mock sessions were the best. Especially the one today that got pretty heated. I bet if anybody was really in our chamber, they would have been interested. So
I need some.
It was a lot of debating and stuff. It was really fun. Oh yeah, going all the way to the top and looking out from the top 22nd floor was also amazing too. And getting a magnet name tag.
I delivered messages to different representatives. Met the governor, went to the governor's mansion.
Met my senator. Got a tour of the old Capitol. Went on a scavenger hunt actually around the Capitol.
It was a good time.
I won't forget the friends that I've met and the connections we made too. That was a lot of fun.
Like that it's really hard being a representative.
I learned that the amendment is not only the amendments that are like the amendments, like on the Bill of Rights, but also the amendment that you can like propose to change or put a change onto the bill. That it was a bill to allow students to have on college campuses to allow them to have concealed weapons or carry a weapon. It passed, but some of the amendments, not all of the amendments passed, like the amendments to let them be 18 years of age. They were trying to change it from 21 to being 18, and we had a lot of debate on that. That amendment didn't pass. We passed amendments on there should be a certification, like a class they should go through at the college for gun safety and the way gun use, and also get not only a license to carry the weapon, but also get a certification from the college, allowing them to have it on their campus. Be prepared to work.
Okie dokie.
But be brave.
Get plenty of exercise before you come up here and get messages.
And make sure you bring shirts with collars.
And make sure you bring your yes. Don't
and
forget
so
your
don't be
pad.
shy. Make connections and talk with everyone.